She just flies great. Welcome to the shop. Got myself the FMS Ranger V2. Yes, they made a version 2 with some upgrades that I think are very significant, and I'll point those out during the parts review and assembly and such. In this video, going to go through what I normally do, right? Review the parts, highlight things that are notable, assembly. There's a couple things that aren't in the manual that if this is your first kind of build, you're not going to see that and you'll have to redo some stuff. Going to highlight that. In the end, I'll do a maiden flight and then a summary. If you like these videos, hit that like button. And if you're interested in this plane, the affiliate link is in the description along with a coupon code. So save you a couple bucks, get yourself your first airplane. Highly recommended. I've taught a lot of people how to fly this plane. I've made a lot of videos with this plane, I think 7 or 8. My whole beginner series is all about that. You can see that, right there. Click on that if you're interested in the beginner series. Otherwise, stick around and let's show this plane off. As we're looking at the parts count, well, let me just point out one thing. The most important part of the upgrade is that carbon fiber spar. That right there gives you that wing the rigidity you need, because without it, the old version, let me show you. Whoop! Lost a wing! Okay. That's why the carbon fiber spar is so helpful. The wings, everything else is pretty much identical, just that additional spar. Fuselage is now 2 pieces, so in the unlikely event that you crash, you'll only have to buy half a fuselage. Hopefully that'll save you a couple bucks. The next change is, or upgrade I should say, is the Reflex V3, which allows you to make changes with your phone. It's kind of nice. If you want to dial things down or dial them up, you can do that. Pretty much it. Very similar to the first version. Easy to assemble, screws together, no glue required. All right, to put these 2 halves together, there's a couple things you gotta do. There's 3 things. One is, note this control rod here needs to go into that tube right there. The other thing you'll notice is there's a servo here, but there's no plugs coming out. So that's deep inside the bowels. So we gotta reach in and pull that out. So you got that. The other thing is this piece here needs to go in that spot right there. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna first put in the carbon fiber part of this, align that. Then I'm going to shove that elevator servo lead back. I'll be able to grab that with my little hook. Then this is the last piece. This control rod needs to go inside that tube. Okay, got to have all 3 things sorted out there, or else you're going to have to take it apart. Don't ask me how I know that. Push those together, and then you're going to put in a small screw there and another small screw on that side. Pretty simple to do. The tail just slides in. Make sure it fits properly. There's only one way to put it on. And then you use a couple of the long screws, 2 of those. Let's put those in. Tighten them down, tighten them well, not crazy, but good enough. Landing gear also, easy install. Now you'll be tempted to put screws into that aluminum right there and into those threads. Don't do it. You're going to have a plastic clip that goes over it right there. Put that down. You're going to have small screws in the front and long screws in the back. It takes about less than 5 minutes to install everything. It's a pretty simple process. Wing assembly is a breeze. Just slide both halves onto that carbon fiber spar and you're going to install 2 small screws in the center. Pretty simple. The yellow tape, I removed the yellow tape that's around the aileron plugs, servo plugs, but on the struts, I leave those alone until I'm ready to install those. All right, so here's something that's a little fiddly, but this is that elevator servo. This is the elevator servo lead that needs to go into the reflex gyro and needs to get plugged in on this side inside there, way in there. It's kind of tricky to do. It's going to be a little fiddly. That's where a pair of forceps really comes in handy. Let me just stop right there because that whole forcep thing didn't work. And so I had to go down a different route. Let me show you what I did to plug that elevator into the reflex. So, just throwing this out here that in order to get this elevator plug into the reflex, I have opted for pulling the reflex out because it was just too hard for me to get in there. So I'm pulling the reflex out, plugging it in, making sure everything's plugged in tight, and reapplying the reflex in the same direction that it was, same spot. A lot easier than trying to use forceps and get that down there. So just another little tip. It will pull out, it'll pop out of there. If you want to now put just a dab of hot glue or some kind of glue alongside just to give it a little more stability, because if that comes out while you're flying, it's going to be a rough flight. I'll tell you that. You better have a switch so you can turn it off. Anyway, just a little tip on getting that elevator servo lead in there. Remember that control rod that you had to slide in at the fuselage? It's for the rudder. That needs to get attached to this servo that's inside the fuselage. Unscrew that little brass thing just a little bit, a couple turns, slide the control rod in, and then tighten it. Then you're good to go. Wanted to show you what's inside. It's all assembled, ready to go. Have a Lemon RX receiver, one of those 7 channels, connected to the reflex gyro. Problem with the, not the problem, but the limitation of the Lemon RX is there's no telemetry for the radio as far as how do you have any fades, any loss, any holds, anything like that. You don't get that. You also don't get battery telemetry. So I always use one of these FMS battery alarms. They work out pretty well. To take the wing off, basically you have to remove these little quick connects, and the struts slide into this little plastic thing. So if you wanted to take this off, it's not overly difficult to do. You will have to, unplug there, but not a big problem. All right, so the other thing obviously I do before a Maiden is I make sure all the control surfaces are lined up perfectly neutral. In order to get that, you have to first get everything plugged in, the receiver, make sure everything, all your trims are neutral on your radio, and then manually adjust anything that might be out of whack. In this one, there was almost nothing out of whack. It went together pretty quick. Yeah, typical Ranger assembly. I've done a number of them. Pretty easy. Now, let's go to the field and get a flight. Yep. The Ranger V2 with upgraded wing. Do a little flying. Okay. Flying with an 1800 milliamp battery, and again, this is just one of the best trainers out there. And I think with the extra strength in the wing, they made it a lot more durable for pilots. Great thing about this plane is its slow flight characteristics. and doesn't bite you
Time remaining 4 minutes.
on slow flight. Really hard to stall this plane. Great flyer. Plus, decent with aerobatics. They'll do it all. And it will land very slow and gentle. Cut throttle here. I'm not gonna modulate the throttle a little bit here. With that nose wheel on it, it allows you to screw up without hurting it. Super easy plane to fly. I think FMS really did it right when they added the additional strength on that wing. Great little flyer. Colors are nice. The motor has not been upgraded as far as power system is the same. And they have the flight mode. So if I want to go in stability mode as a trainer and fly it, I can. And the nice thing is now with the V3, I can modify that.
Time remaining 2 minutes.
Take it out of that mode. In the optimized mode, my radio just said AS3X, but it's really optimized. Great little plane. All right, welcome back. So let's summarize. One, I think you can tell, I love this plane. I've made like 8 videos using the FMS Ranger in my whole beginner series, a bunch of stuff with pontoons, whatnot. It's just a great, great plane. The upgrades they made were not trivial in my mind, especially the wing strut. That's a big deal. That enables this plane to take a lot more stress when you start doing aerobatics. If you were to cartwheel this plane, you're going to have a lot more durability, which is a plus, big plus for the beginner pilot, because you're going to beat up this plane, so you want it durable. The reflex gyro, now you can make some adjustments. If you want a little bit more turning as far as in that stabilized mode, you want to bank a little more, you can adjust it. You want to bank a little less, you can adjust it. Great features are in this. I really highly recommend this plane. I have an affiliate link in the description along with a coupon code if you're interested. Again, guys, if you like this kind of content, hit that like button. Helps me out. If you have a question, leave a comment. More than happy to answer any of your questions about this plane, why I think it's so wonderful. Anyway, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Have a great day.